The following is a paid program for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital.
Hello, everyone. I'm Marlo Thomas. My father, Danny Thomas, founded St. Jude over 45 years ago with the dream that no child should die in the dawn of life.
You have to fight really hard. You have to be strong. You can't be afraid. And you have to have a lot of people helping you and giving you support.
My advice is keep your hopes high and just dream big and never give up.
I say thank you, God, that I can be holding His hand beside me in this moment.
Hi, I'm Hathaway. Nationwide, more than 10,000 children will learn they have cancer this year, and over 1,500 of them will die. To me, even if one child dies, that's one child too many. That's why I got involved with St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, because here is where the research is being done to try to save children's lives. I first came to the hospital when I brought some of my movies for a special St. Jude screening. Meeting those kids was life-changing for me. I realized everyone at St. Jude, from the patients and their parents to the scientists and doctors, need my help and yours to win the fight against childhood cancer. So today, I'm here to help tell their story and to ask you to please become a partner in hope. With me today are several of our partners in hope, St. Jude's most loyal supporters. They want to share with you stories of St. Jude children who've changed their lives forever, and why, year after year, they choose to keep giving.
The children at St. Jude are so brave. They're courageous. They're walking in there strong, facing whatever they've got to do to get well, but still facing the possibility that they might not.
Hayden's story just breaks my heart. Hayden was diagnosed with a brain tumor called ATRT, or atypical teratoid rhabdoid tumor. It's in the back of his brain, and there is no cure.
We would have never thought in 1,000 years this would have ever happened to our family. He was perfectly healthy.
He's been feeling pretty lousy. The chemo's really hit him hard. And he's been in a lot of pain, and past 3 nights he's been up all night getting sick. His stomach is just raw on the inside. They call it high-dose chemotherapy. It's probably one of the highest doses anybody gets. Extremely dangerous.
Hayden is so strong. He's such an inspiration to me, just watching everything he's going through.
I cry a lot here, but it's not a depressing place at all, because around here, kids are number one.
The staff at St. Jude is so gentle and caring and loving. If Hayden has any hope of staying alive, they need to try everything they can, and it's a long process.
We are still hoping that there's a miracle around the corner.
Doctors were able to harvest enough good cells from Hayden to perform a bone marrow transplant.
We won't know for another 24 hours if they'll need to go back in and get some more bone marrow or not.
Just a few weeks later, Hayden and his family get the news they've been waiting for. The transplant is a success. Scans show no sign of cancer, and Hayden is ready to go home.
Time to go.
One of the things I really love about St. Jude is how the staff is as excited as the patients when they finish their chemo and they are allowed to go home.
Pack your bags, get out the door. It's time for you to leave the floor.
The doctors here are great. They've given us lots of hope.
It's been 6 months since his bone marrow transplant, and Hayden is back at St. Jude for a checkup.
He really looks the best we've seen him look in a long time. But just because we know he looks good doesn't mean things are good on the inside.
He looked like he was doing fine. But what they thought was a routine checkup turned into another crisis for Hayden. His cancer had come back.
Hayden already knows that at this point there is no drug that's going to make the tumor go away. He knows what's going to happen.
Well, I was shocked when I saw the changes in Hayden just 1 month later. The medicine to relieve the pressure on his brain made him look like a different person. When you see the scars, you see the swelling. They're doing everything they can to save this child, and it doesn't always happen. It broke my heart all over again. But Hayden is such a fighter. In the middle of all this, he goes to a hockey game just to take his mind off everything he's been going through.
You know, sometimes he'll get scared and he'll cry, but Hayden also has a deep faith, and he knows that he's going to be in heaven with his other friends from here that have passed on. No child ever should have to go through this.
In spite of all the heroic efforts of Hayden and his family and his St. Jude doctors and nurses, Hayden passed away.
You don't know when you're going to be in my shoes. It may not be your own child. It may be your best friend's child. It may be your grandchild. But chances are this is going to touch somebody in your life.
It's unfair, and I know it all happens for a reason, but I look in his face and I just think, I wish there's more that I could do.
It was hard to watch Hayden lose his battle. Maybe my donation helped make his life a little easier while he was here.
When I realized that Hayden was not going to make it, I knew that I could make a difference for future Haydens just by being a partner in hope.
Help save the lives of these innocent children simply by calling the number on your screen today. With your pledge of just $19 a month, you can become a St. Jude Partner in Hope and join the hundreds of thousands of donors worldwide who are helping us find cures for childhood cancer and other deadly diseases. We need your help to continue our life-saving work. Please, call now.
Brain tumors, like the one that took Hayden's life, are at the forefront of St. Jude's research. At St. Jude, the work to save children's lives never ends. Neither does the need for our support. There are so many children who are fighting for their lives, and behind every one of them are people like Alva.
I think back of when my grandmother lost her son to leukemia, and there were no resources, and she always talked about how that was a heartache that she lived with for the rest of her life. That is why I was so touched by Stefan's story. I don't know Stefan personally, but he reminds me of my grandson. He loves to play video games and sports. One day he told his mom that he had a sharp pain in his stomach.
I said, my belly hurts, and when she touched it, it was very hard. It was like a rock.
And I said, Stefan, are you okay? And when I touched his hands, he was sweating. The doctor said, Stefan has a mass. And I said, what do you mean, a mass? You're talking about my son has cancer? It cannot be. It cannot be cancer. It just cannot be.
Stefan's doctor got in touch with St. Jude to see if they could help him before it was too late. Stefan's cancer was so rare, nobody had ever seen it before.
They said it was the desmoplastic red cell tumor. It's very rare. Only 200 people in the world have it.
200 kids in the world that has this cancer. It's 20% survival.
They operated on him and took out several tumors. It was unbelievable that in less than a week he was up and walking around. Stefan still needs 3 months of chemotherapy and radiation to keep the tumors from coming back. Stefan's mom was so worried. Unfortunately, halfway through his chemo treatment, another tumor appeared.
I have this tumor here, right behind my ribs.
I can't imagine what it was like waiting to hear the news from the doctor. I was so happy for Stefan and his mom when they got the good news.
The doctor said that it's shrinking, it's getting smaller. Stefan feels so safe and so secure with the doctors. like good friends, you know.
But he's not out of danger yet.
You have to fight really hard. You have to be strong. You can't be afraid.
I hope more people give more money to this hospital. It means a lot. It means my kid's life. Before I close my eyes, I say thank you, God, that I can be holding his hand beside me in this moment. And that's what I thank God every night, that Stefan is alive.
I don't want to think what might have happened to Stefan if there wasn't a place like St. Jude.
I'm proud to be able to say this child is going home because I did my part in this.
Here to tell you more about the biggest battle we're facing today and what you can do to help is someone I admire greatly, St. Jude National Outreach Director Marlo Thomas.
Thanks so much, Anne. Hello, everyone. I'm here at St. Jude, which my father, Danny Thomas, founded over 45 years ago with the dream that no child should die in the dawn of life. And thanks to the continuing donations from people like you, we've saved thousands of young lives, and we've changed the way the whole world treats children with cancer. I know my dad would be so proud of what we've done together to help realize his dream. And even though we've saved so many children, there are still children dying from catastrophic diseases, and we must keep fighting to save them. That's why I'm asking for your help. All the children we've cured and all those who will turn to St. Jude for hope in the future could never be saved without people like you who give $19 a month to St. Jude. You are our partners in hope, and you make it possible for us to keep saving more children's lives year after year. So please become a partner in hope today and join us to find cures and save children's lives.
Now is the time to become a partner in hope for just $19 a month. Every month, we'll send you a photo and story of a child whose life you're helping to save. We'll also include a special Portraits of Hope photo album, so you can keep those images as a reminder of the difference you're making in the lives of these children and their families. At St. Jude, no child is turned away because of a family's inability to pay, thanks to generous people like you. But we desperately need your help to continue our work and the research that will someday find a cure for all childhood cancers. Your gift, no matter how small, could be the difference between life and death for a critically ill child. Please, call now and become a St. Jude Partner in Hope.
One child was a little girl named Nyla, and I was just awestruck by her energy and her courage.
By the time she was 4 years old, she had already been sick for half her life. This poor little girl, she's fighting lymphoma.
When they told me cancer, the first thing I thought about was death. Why couldn't it be me, you know? Why wasn't it me? I would rather for it to be me than her. You know, she has a life ahead of her.
I just think of her life possibly being cut short by this dreaded disease.
She used to do like a high-dose chemo every other day. Now she comes once a week.
I want to imagine this child on a playground somewhere having fun, not being here taking chemotherapy.
She's a very brave little girl. I love her so much. I'm very, very proud of her. She's everything to me.
Well, you know, they have to try different medicines to basically find something that works. And I know it's hard on her. But of all the places, St. Jude gives her the best chance of survival.
My prayer for my daughter is for her to be able to live and play like a child. I just wanted her not to miss her childhood, to know what it was like to be a child.
You know, during the 2 years of treatment, Nyla may have lost her hair, but this little kid didn't lose her spirit. I was taught and I was enriched by the energy that this little girl and the courage that she exemplifies through her struggles.
I believe this is the best hospital in the world. I just thank the Lord, everybody that donates, and St. Jude for everything that they've done for us and giving my child life.
They're innocent kids who just want to get better. And to do that, they need our help.
Nyla and her mom will be making annual trips to St. Jude until she's 18 to monitor her progress and to be sure that her cancer doesn't return. These visits are crucial to Nyla's long-term survival, as well as every other child who's in remission. St. Jude follows the progress of its patients long after they leave the hospital at no charge to the families. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital's after completion of therapy program is the largest long-term follow-up clinic for pediatric cancer patients in the United States. But these visits can't happen without the support of people like you and me. Keeping a child in remission is a battle all in itself, and all the more reason to become a partner in hope.
Together we have given health and happiness back to thousands of children and their families. But there is one disease worldwide that remains a major killer of children: pediatric brain tumors. And that's why we need you to become a partner in hope right now. You'll not only be supporting all the life-saving work of St. Jude, but you'll be joining our fight to defeat today's deadliest childhood disease. In our brand new Chili's Care Center, we're making advances in brain tumor research and treatment that will help children and communities across America and around the world. So please, call now.
You will help save these children at St. Jude when you become a partner in hope today. Your gift of $19 a month, just 63 cents a day, can make a life and death difference for a child who's battling cancer. So please, call the number on your screen. Please, call now.
As an actor, I love telling stories. But the stories we really need to hear are those of the brave boys and girls of St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. St. Jude's philosophy is that their patients should live as normal a childhood as possible, even when fighting life-threatening diseases.
When I look at those kids' faces and their eyes, they are happy kids. They don't realize that they're fighting for their life. Even though I don't know Allie, her strength makes me want to help her out.
I'm 12 years old and I have neuroblastoma, and I've been fighting it for 7 years. When I was first diagnosed, it was a 4-pound tumor, and it was from my abdomen up to my chest, and it was terrible because it was spreading so fast. It was like a race against time.
Your child has cancer. Those words take your breath away. Take your breath away. At the time, we were given about a 5% survival rate.
Even though Allie's cancer went into remission for 8 years, when she came back to St. Jude for her annual checkup at the age of 12, she got some very bad news.
My doctor came in and said to me, "Allie, the cancer has come back." And I just like stopped, and I just put my head down, and I just started to cry.
7 years ago, we were told if it ever came back, it would be like wildfire.
It's in my pelvis and my hips, and some's in my legs and the bone in my legs. It's really sad because, I mean, I'm like the only kid in my whole entire school that's bald, and I was like crying for at least 3 weeks about it. I'm still crying about it, and I'm just devastated. I'm fighting for my life. I'm just fighting to stay alive.
Allie has been through so much. I can't believe how she manages to stay so positive. The next step is a marrow harvest to collect bone marrow for a life-saving transplant. But if the cells show any signs of cancer, the transplant can't happen.
The outcome of the harvest is what's scary to me. If it's bad news and there's tumor, we don't have a whole lot of options.
It's heartbreaking. There's bad news from this procedure. They found cancer cells in the marrow they harvested. They won't be able to do the transplant.
We are going to have to kind of back up and do some more chemo. You know, we're just right now trying to keep the tumor from getting worse.
6 weeks later, Allie looks like she's had a full recovery.
There was a chemo I was taking, and it doesn't make my hair fall out, so that's why it's been growing. I can pull back a little piece of my hair into a ponytail. Isn't that great? Yeah.
But looks can be deceiving. The neuroblastoma is growing again. The doctors at St. Jude have one last plan to save beautiful Allie. It's called a haploidentical or a haplotransplant. It's a revolutionary procedure, allowing Allie's mother to be a cell donor, even though she's not a perfect match. Those donor cells will hopefully grow into a new immune system to help Allie fight her cancer.
We've been at this now 8 years, and she's grown up in this hospital. She's grown up with cancer. She's gonna fight. She just never gives up.
Well, when I'm 16, my mom's gonna take me to Rome. It just looks so old and ancient, and I just want to go see it.
Allie never got to live her dream. She lost her battle with cancer. They tried the latest treatment for her, and even though Allie did not win her battle, the treatment that still goes on at St. Jude will help another child.
My advice is keep your hopes high and just dream big and never give up.
As a nurse, what I know is pain and suffering is devastating. And it's just not enough to say, I feel sorry for you. I wish there was something I can do, because there is something you can do. I don't feel any one person should suffer if there's something that we can do to stop the suffering. And suffering is not only with the patient and not only with the children, but it's with the family. It's looking into that mother's face and seeing that kind of pain in her face and not being able to help her, or the dad's face who's trying to be strong and not cry, but you see the tears swelling in his eyes. You don't have to have a child suffering to see that kind of and feel that kind of pain. I see a kid that's asking for hope, to just run and play, to just grow up to realize their dream.
Now is the time to become a partner in hope for just $19 a month. Every month, we'll send you a photo and story of a child whose life you're helping to save. We'll also include a special Portraits of Hope photo album, so you can keep those images as a reminder of the difference you're making in the lives of these children and their families. At St. Jude, no child is turned away because of a family's inability to pay, thanks to generous people like you. But we desperately need your help to continue our work and the research that will someday find a cure for all childhood cancers. Your gift, no matter how small, could be the difference between life and death for a critically ill child. Please, call now and become a St. Jude Partner in Hope.
We've been donors since around 1985, and every month the newsletter would arrive along with a picture of one of the children that St. Jude hopefully was going to find a cure for. Peter is one of the children that, when I look into Peter's eyes, my prayer is that Peter is going to be one of the ones that makes it. And if Peter has any hope of making it, that hope lies with St. Jude. Peter's parents took him there when they found out he had a brain tumor. He was just 2 years old.
It was definitely one of the worst nights of my life. Pete's tumor is extremely rare.
Little Peter's too young to know what's happening. Peter's fast-growing brain cancer will spread to other parts of his body if the doctors at St. Jude cannot get to it. The surgeons got about 95% of it, but the rest of the mass was tangled around his little brain. It's going to take a miracle to kill the last 5% of the tumor without hurting Peter's brain. So the doctors start radiation treatments. It's the most amazing thing. They put little Peter to sleep, and they send tiny little amounts of radiation targeted right to those tumor cells. The scientists, the doctors, the technicians, they know so much more now about these things. But Peter's so young and so vulnerable, and his tumor's so unusual, it's tough to know what's going to happen next.
I try to take it one day at a time. Try not to think one way or the other what his outcome's going to be. How do you keep your kid safe from a brain tumor? I can't protect him from that. All I can do is give him the best treatment available.
He is a great little patient. He sees the doctors come in and he lifts up his shirt so that they can listen to his heart.
I feel like my job now is just to spend as much time with my son as possible.
Little Peter was able to go home for 3 weeks during a break in his treatment.
You really don't know how many more times they have to play together. I try not to think that far ahead.
While he's enjoying time with his family, the doctors at St. Jude are working on ways to keep him alive. He looks better now, but his type of cancer is one of the scariest because it could easily kill him. I keep this child, Peter, and all of the children of St. Jude close to my heart always. I think with what Peter is up against, if there is any hope that he is going to make it, that hope lies with St. Jude. And with the help of Partners in Hope, it can happen.
Today, Peter is in remission. In fact, his doctors are amazed that little Peter is still alive. That's why it's so urgent for you to support St. Jude's initiative to cure brain tumors. St. Jude Children's Research Hospital is the only children's hospital devoted entirely to finding cures for childhood cancer, including brain tumors like Peter's. As you watch this, doctors and scientists are working hard in the new Chili's Care Center to beat this terrible disease once and for all. Everything is in place to make a cure possible, but it can only happen with your help. And here to tell you how you can help is Marlo Thomas.
I wish you could have known my father. He was devoted to his family. So he knew instinctively that sick children need more than medicine. They also need their parents nearby, giving love and support. But some of our patients' families live hundreds or even thousands of miles away from St. Jude. And that's why my father's promise that no child would ever be turned away for a family's inability to pay is so important. When a child comes for treatment at St. Jude, we pay for everything. Airfare, food, and lodging for the child and a parent, no matter how far they've come or how long their treatment takes. It's not just the right thing to do. It actually helps to save more children's lives. And that's why we're here. But keeping families together costs money. And that's why it's crucial that we have caring people like you, our partners in hope, to make it all possible.
Now is the time to become a partner in hope for just $19 a month. Every month, we'll send you a photo and story of a child whose life you're helping to save. We'll also include a special Portraits of Hope photo album, so you can keep those images as a reminder of the difference you're making in the lives of these children and their families. At St. Jude, no child is turned away because of a family's inability to pay, thanks to generous people like you. But we desperately need your help to continue our work and the research that will someday find a cure for all childhood cancers. Your gift, no matter how small, could be the difference between life and death for a critically ill child. Please, call now and become a St. Jude Partner in Hope.
You know, my father used to say that there are two kinds of people in the world, the givers and the takers. The takers may sometimes eat better, but the givers always sleep better. I want to thank Anne Hathaway for being a giver and for being a part of our St. Jude family. And I invite you to become a giver too and experience what it feels like to know that you're saving children's